So today we're in the basement of St. Gabriel All Angels boiler room. This is the boiler, and it heats water, and then from the water we get steam, and the steam goes up and it warms all of the radiators in the church. Now, with this steam, one of the things that we have to deal with is there is a residue that typically comes through all the pipes and radiator back down into the boiler over time. So in heating season, you want to make sure that ideally about every 30 days, that you bleed the boiler from both sides, and we'll show you where those are, to take that what'll look like very dirty water out of the bottom of the boiler. You'll know that you're basically getting all of it out pretty good when the water that you're pouring out of the buckets into the drain in the floor here is starting to pour basically pretty clean. At first you will see it's very, very dirty. So I'm going to show you where the two places are that we bleed from. The first one is over here. You'll see a yellow handle with a valve, and there's a bucket right there. If you open that valve so it's parallel with the pipe there, it'll start shooting out the dirty water. On the opposite side of the boiler, there's another one. And you can see this one over here is another one with the yellow handle. And I move the bucket over there, and I do the same thing over there. I'll start on this side, and normally what we'll do is we'll take out about 4 buckets, and by the time we hit about the 4th bucket, that's a 2-gallon bucket, about the time we hit the 4th one, you're going to hear a click, and the system then will recognize that it's getting low on water, so it'll automatically start filling the water back into the system. And then I'll move to the other side, and I'll take out probably about 4 buckets out of the other side. Usually by the time I've completed that, we have got pretty clean water back in the boiler, and basically it preserves the life of the boiler. So we'll start now with this side. You can see how dirty it is. Then we take the bucket, and it doesn't look very clean. It looks pretty brown, murky water. And I'm going to pour it in the drain right here. So you want to back up, and we'll try not to get anybody's feet. You can see how dirty that water is. By the time, like I say, we get 4 buckets out, this machine will notice, the sensors will notice that it's getting low on water. You can see the dirt coming out in the water there. All right, that's number 2. Back to the drain. That's a little cleaner than the last one, which means that's from a little bit higher up in the boiler. Obviously in the very bottom is where it gets really dirty.
Still looks pretty dirty.
It still looks pretty dirty. Here it clicked. You heard it click?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the sensors picked up that the boiler was low on water, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's going to start to refill the water that I'm taking out with clean, fresh water. Every time I get another bucket out, the water will get a little bit cleaner. That was 3.
How often do you do this?
I need to do this in the heating season about every 30 days. And I keep a log, which is right up here, of when it was done. Ideally, it'd be nice if we have at least 2 or 3 people that know how to do this, so that we always see it's getting a little cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when I go to the other side, I'm probably going to have some murky water over here as well. So I'm going to have you move.
Okay.
With the light, go back in here. Coming out pretty dirty. Same thing, very murky this first couple of pails. You can see how dirty that water is. That's why we bleed it from both sides. You want to get it clean.
Is one side lower than the other?
I don't think so. I think they put it in here pretty level. But if we get about 8 pails out of it, so that's roughly 16 gallons or 15 to 16 gallons of water. I'm not certain what the capacity is, but that usually will get it pretty well cleaned up. And then we're getting fresh water back in it, which is going to save the life of the boiler and keep this muck from basically collecting when ultimately it will calcify in the boiler if it was left there long enough, and that wouldn't be good. That was 2.
Starting to look a lot cleaner.
Yeah, because it's taking it off the lower part in the boiler, I believe, and that's where the stuff is settled, and that's what's really dirty. As we get a little bit water from above, then it'll be cleaner. And as everybody may know, water weighs 8 pounds a gallon. So if you have 2 pails full, you've probably got 15 pounds roughly of water that you're moving at a time.
Well, it's almost complete and clean now.
Yeah, it's doing quite well now.
So that's the 4th.
That's the 4th. So, and I'll vary it too. Sometimes if I look at it and I think, it's still looking a little bit dirty.
Yeah, just keep doing it.
So sometimes, but you can see when I'm pouring it, it's pretty clear. Usually when you have it to that level, that's good. Then we move over to the wall, and I'll pull up my little log here. The log is right there. And who's ever doing it should put the date. Today is May 27th. Is it 28th or 27th?
27th.
May 27th. You can see the last time it was bled was 4/29, so a month ago. I date it, and then I put my name there, so we have a record. And the man who comes, when they come to inspect the boiler every year, they definitely like to see the fact that we keep a log. It shows that we're basically taking care of the boiler, and that's our responsibility. So that's all I can tell you about taking care of the basic maintenance in terms of bleeding the boiler, keeping the water clean, and prolonging the life of our boiler.